Well, as you can tell from the tastefully arranged and expensive decorations behind me, it's the holidays, and you know what that means. It's time to try and fail to restrain yourself from arguing about politics with your family. Almost 60% of Americans say that political polarization has gotten worse over the past 5 years, and it seems like 100% of that increase has happened in your own damn family. Your relatives have been brainwashed by political propaganda, and as we all know, it falls upon you, the enlightened YouTube viewer, to eviscerate them on the field of rhetorical battle. And I, esteemed YouTube fact man, am here to help. Right now, the people in power have big reasons to mislead you and those you love about the American economy, and your Fox News watching relatives are taking the bait. Fox News is too liberal nowadays. Now I watch Steve Bannon's War Room. You can tell he's wise because of all the shirts he wears. There's knowledge among those layers. Yeah. That's what happens when you teach Grandpa to use the Roku. That's right. Now that Elon Musk saved us all that money with Doge, and the illegals aren't stealing my Social Security anymore, prices are going down and the economy's doing gangbusters. Well, sorry, extremely believable Grandpa character. None of that is true. Doge is dead, and the government is spending more money than before Doge even existed. Prices are up everywhere, and the economy is only doing great for the rich f***s at the top. In this video, I'm going to provide you all the facts you need to get the best gift of all this holiday season: your family bowing before you, their nog-stained lips whimpering and gibbering apologies, and a final acknowledgement that you, yes you, were right and they were wrong. But before we get to that, just a reminder, I'm on tour right now. On December 4th, I'm doing my brand new hour of stand-up at the Lincoln Theater in Washington, D.C. I cannot wait. It's going to be a huge show. After that, I'm headed to Pittsburgh, where I'm performing at the Bottle Rocket Social Club. And then in January, I'm headed to Madison, Wisconsin, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Louisville, Kentucky, Houston, Texas. And finally, from February 19th through 21st, I am going to be recording my hour as a stand-up special at the historic Punchline Comedy Club in San Francisco. I cannot wait. If you want to be there, head to adamconover.net for tickets. And if you want to support this channel directly, and I hope you do, head to patreon.com/adamconover. That would be a Christmas gift to me. Oh, how nice. Ha! Well, lucky for you, people are going to have more money to spend on your comedy nonsense. Now that Trump's got inflation under control, prices are going down. Why, Trump even said that Thanksgiving is cheaper this year. Okay, so just none of that is true. First of all, what Trump was referring to there was Walmart's yearly Thanksgiving dinner bundle, where they, put a bunch of foods into one big basket so you can feed a whole family with one purchase. And it's true, that bundle costs about a quarter less this year than it did last year. But the only reason for that is because Walmart actually downsized the bundle. It has less brand name items this year than it did last year, and 6 fewer total food products, including no mini marshmallows. So the truth is, Walmart actually made their baskets smaller and cheaper because their customers can no longer afford a big one. The economy is literally so bad and prices are literally so high that Walmart no longer thinks their customers can afford mini marshmallows on their fucking candied yams. That's the headline, Grandpa. Not a chance, Sonny. Trump's tariffs solved inflation, and that means we're all gonna be rich. I think I'll use my money to buy a Build-A-Bear franchise. Why a Build-A-Bear works? It's okay. I wrote it. I don't need to understand it. So look, let's talk turkey about the tariffs, okay? At the beginning of this year, for reasons that had nothing to do with Trump at all, most economists expected that pandemic-era inflation would just naturally start to fall. So that would have been an easy win for Trump, but instead, in part because of his tariffs, which are literally a tax on imports, prices on things from coffee to furniture to housing have continued to rise. And that means the economy has continued to suck. It's actually gotten worse for everyone who isn't wealthy. Like, how about this for a data point? Low-income people have actually stopped eating at McDonald's. Traffic at fast food restaurants from low-income households is down by double digits. But hey, don't cry for Diabetes the Clown over here, because another knock-on effect of the economic downturn is that high earners have started eating at McDonald's. Wow, what poor people stuff are they gonna do next? Early childhood lead exposure? In fact, the literal only pieces of good news that have come out of the economy lately have been about the spending habits of the uber wealthy. Right now, the top 10% of US households account for nearly half of all spending in the economy. That means the economy is only quote-unquote Good because your boss's boss is still scarfing down caviar on a yacht in the Mediterranean while everyone else is opening a line of credit to split a quarter pounder. Quit your belly aching. The billionaires are making America great. Why, ever since Elon fired up that old chainsaw, Doge has saved us $1 trillion. You know, Elon's an odd duck, what with the ketamine binges and the weird jumping and the polygamist harem, but he's a good American Christian boy. You mean South African? Whatever. Okay, sure. Elon famously did say that his Department of Government Efficiency would save $1 trillion earlier this year.
You said that there was $1 trillion promise for cuts from Doge.
Yes, I think we do expect over time to achieve the $1 trillion.
And he said he could fulfill that promise by cutting NIH grants for life-saving clinical trials, firing nuclear scientists and safety experts, and gutting the agencies we rely on for reliable information on deadly weather events. And, yeah, he went ahead and made those cuts. Hot dog, now you're talking. I hate those scientists always trying to cure diseases. Why, back in my day, you died of smallpox twice on the way to school, and you were lucky to do so. Well, most people disagree. Elon's anti-science purge was so unpopular, he fled the government months ago, and now Doge is dead. Literally, even though there are 8 months left on its charter, Trump's OPM director says the department straight up no longer exists. Is that because its job is done? Did all of that reckless cutting make a dent in government spending? No. Right now, the federal government is actually on track to spend $275 billion more this year. I mean, after promising massive cuts, Trump's government is spending more money than ever. Kind of like how Mom said she'd keep it low-key this Christmas, then wound up doubling our electric bill on light-up reindeer. Says you. We're still saving tons of money because we're not paying for all those freeloading illegals. I'm sorry, undocumented illegals, now that Trump's deported them. You can't come to this country and take our services and not give back. That's like coming to a potluck without bringing a dish. Okay, look, the myth of the freeloading immigrant is so frequently repeated, it might as well be Last Christmas by Wham. I'm not familiar. Okay, how about Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney? Ooh, that one I like. Yeah, you would. Never mind. The truth is, most types of immigrants, including undocumented people, asylum seekers, and refugees, aren't eligible for any government benefits. Just look at this chart I've conveniently superimposed upon a plate of candied yams. And just so you know, that chart and a ton of the facts we used to make this video came from our data partner, USAFacts. You know, in a time when Americans are so polarized, USAFacts is an amazing resource for finding real, true, unbiased facts about what's actually happening in our government. So if you want the honest truth, head to usafacts.org. So say you have a relative that's, misinformed about which services immigrants are actually eligible for. Well, you can just show them this USAFacts chart. Those little red squares are the types of federal aid that immigrants can't get. And you'll notice that refugees, DACA recipients, work visa immigrants, asylum applicants, and unauthorized, undocumented, illegal immigrants are all ineligible for services like Medicaid and SNAP. But if you look at the second part of the chart, you'll see that all of those groups, all immigrants, including undocumented immigrants, pay the taxes that fund those programs. So they're not chowing down at a potluck when they didn't bring a dish. They helped cook the damn meal, but they don't even get a bite. That is why we need to support the immigrants in our communities, not harass them or kidnap them off the street into black vans, ripping them from their families and deporting them to countries they're not even from. Now, at this point in the evening, when things have gotten a little heated, there have been some raised voices, but you've brought the facts, the information, the real truth about America. Well, at this point, you'd probably be hoping your grandpa would say something like this. You know what, Sonny? You're right. You've convinced me with the power of facts and logic. And what's more, I've really enjoyed watching you monologue around the dinner table for our entire holiday. I'm so glad that you, the enlightened YouTube viewer that you are, finally taught your old grandpa a thing or two. You're my favorite grandchild and the heir to my Build-A-Bear fortune. We all know that's a fantasy. That's never gonna happen. No, it isn't. You may be my only grandson, but you're a cuck and you'll always be a cuck. Just to teach you a lesson, I'm gonna start watching that Nick Fuentes boy. He's got some bright ideas. Where's my remote? Yeah, exactly. And that's why you're not really going to do any of this. You're not going to show up to your family gathering ready to get into some long-winded debate with the facts on your side. No, you're going to remember that even though these are really important issues and really bad things are happening in our country, the bond between you and your family is really important too. I mean, the right for everyone's family bonds to be respected, no matter how messy and weird they are, well, that's part of what we're fighting for in the first place, is for the ability for everyone to take care of themselves and their families. And, maybe what that means is that the best way you can be a positive influence on your own family if they're a little misguided is just by loving them and being yourself with them. Not backing down, but, just being who you are with them honestly. And that's why when Grandpa spouts some bullshit, you might just mumble, well, not everyone sees it that way. Then smile and pass him the peas. And later, after they've all gone home, you can send him this video and let him tire himself out in the comments. Oh, look, there he is, calling me a cuck instead of you. And then, hey, maybe by the time Grandpa shows up on New Year's Eve, his energy spent, you can finally connect on what actually matters. Whether or not he's going to put you in his will before he has a heart attack from reading the Epstein files. Oh my God, I'm in him. My name's in him. My name's in the files. My name's in the files. Oh, they found me out. I gotta go. I gotta go to Cuba.